Oh, you can't.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, but if you stop it, then we're not gonna be able to restart it, so,
No audio for now?
I can, we could. We should probably check to make sure it's working too. But it looks like there's an issue with the back computer.
Oh, what's going on? Oh, it's
Yeah.
the air speed or something.
Yeah. I just noticed when we were talking about the live stream.
Oh, did the live stream like murder this computer?
I hope not. All right, for the time being, I'm muting. And let me get the backup recording.
That's what I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's just sort of static. You know. And also, the only visit.
I was trying to figure it out earlier. Although, let me-
Okay. We're not first there, Gary.
All right. Thank you for your patience, everybody. I think technology issues aside, we've got form and we're ready to go. And just a note for commissioners, the clock you're seeing is half an hour fast.
All right, so let's call together, call order to the, I'm gonna say the November, Victorian Village hearing. Our next business meeting is Wednesday, November 27th, 2024, at 12 p.m. noon, 111 North Front Street, second floor, 205, next door. Our next hearing date will be Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. That'll be 4 p.m. At 111 North Front Street, second floor, room 204, the room is for in. Swear to staff. Can you state your name?
Kimberly Bernard-Shee, Deputy Historic Preservation Officer.
Perfect. You can tell me who the truth.
I do.
Thank you, Kimberly. Introduction, Commissioner Harper Johnson.
Melinda Shaw.
Reese Price.
Tim Skinner. Sean Pioneer. Overview of hearing format.
I'll just run through this real quick.
Okay.
So the hearing format is city staff shall present the application. Applicants are welcome to come up to the table while I'm reading that off. And then applicant and or owner shall be sworn in and asked to present any additional materials if needed. If there are registered speakers, they will then be sworn in, provided 3 minutes to speak each. And then after that, commissioners will discuss the case and ask questions if needed.
Perfect. Thank you, Kimberly. Public forum.
Not today.
Approval of staff reports. There will
Motion to approve staff approvals.
second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Staff, people.
All right, I will read these off for abstentions really quick, starting with 697 Dennison Avenue, 961 Hunter Avenue, 641 North High Street, 910 Dennison Avenue, 250 West Hubbard Avenue, 252 West Hubbard Avenue, 254 West Hubbard Avenue, 256 West Hubbard Avenue, 122 Buttles Avenue, 315 West First Avenue, 762 to 764 Park Street, 35 Lundy Street. And that's all of the staff approvals.
Okay. All right, approval of minutes, from, let's say, let's start with September 11th, 2024 hearing. Is there a motion for approval?
Motion to approve the minutes from the September meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? So the minutes from September that we carried over. have been- So now we're gonna deal with October. So the October 9th hearing. Is there a motion for approval for the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes from the October hearing.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion on any of those minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so minutes. Kimberly for.
All right, we'll start with application number 1. This is for 222 West Hubbard Avenue, one of our continued cases. This is to repair a 10 by 10 flat roof on the front of the building to fix an existing leak, replace ridge roll along one ridge. I have included the commissioner.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just want to be sure before you ran off. I'm so sorry.
Thank
Yeah, I
you.
just didn't know. Oh, perfect. You can
Yes.
go forward. Yes, sir. Thank you. Go ahead.
I'll finish reading this off. Sometimes people don't show up and I read the whole thing, so Sean is just trying to be considerate for me, so I appreciate it. Right. The comments from the October hearing from the commission have been included. The space above the porch was enclosed prior to 1978, therefore HPO does not have drawings of that proposed alteration. The commissioners at the previous business meeting recommended submitting the previously requested materials for clarification. A section drawing has been submitted and site plan for work included in the materials, as well as the items requested from the last hearing have been included. Commissioners also recommended submitting an alternative solution to just replacing the roof like for like. They were concerned that repairing in this kind won't solve the issue of the area not leaking in the future. Work was completed without a CLA or permit. The work included removing remnants of stop gutters and bringing the space between the original slope roof and the flat roof addition, which we've seen. The existing roof appears to have multiple fixes over the course of its lifetime to make the two roofs put together. There was a CLA issued in 2019 to install a new rubber roof. The commission should discuss if repairing in kind is appropriate or if there would be an alternate repair that could work. And I'm posing the questions: do the roofs need to remain separate, or is bridging them as completed appropriate? Staff recommends continuation of the application to allow the applicant to revise the application to meet city code and guidelines. Basis for staff recommendation is City Code 3116/11, the standards for alterations, as well as Victorian village guidelines regarding roofs.
Thank you, Kimberly. Can you state your name, sir, and be sworn in?
My name is Alex Yazel.
Tell the truth and nothing but the truth, sir.
I do.
Thank you. All right. If there's anything to add, and obviously, welcome. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
From that perspective. So, any thoughts on anything like that?
No,
Sorry.
I feel like from all the technical pieces that's been handled by the contractor and the notes and the photos that have been requested. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any questions or anything like that, but happy to provide insights wherever I can.
Okay. Really appreciate it. All right, so I think it's even just kind of remembering pretty much everybody's here for what we talked about last time. To the information is here now to get it over to the end. It was like there was some corrective action, maybe the visual. I think that was one of the comments reports from. So just what you guys' thoughts and maybe comments and next steps.
Two things I see are one being construction oddity, which should be that's for commentary there. And the other one is visibility of this condition from street from the right way. Like we have documentation that helps to describe visual, but I think you see a little bit. See, flat roof condition as here. Based on it's looking down. So, textual reach.
I hear you. Makes sense.
I'm so concerned that you can, that this change tables and the bridge over this.
Do we have clarification on what the shingles used for?
Yes.
You did.
Yes, that was provided. And Alex, do you recall that was Owens Corning?
I do not recall exact manufacturer spec, but my understanding is matching in that the differentiation in color is due to the fact that the existing roof is almost a decade old, if not older, and that's just, yeah.
And I can confirm the roofers used something from the approved windows list, or windows, shingles list, wrong list.
That's all. Seriously.
Your observation will just your observation will be more.
Yeah, this one is still, you can see from here.
The color, because before it's transition environment.
It is definitely a brighter red than those fingers, but but, more just the width.
He doesn't like to take the directive forward, just having to take or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. That would make sense, that if they were waiting to try to understand this, it will be. Yeah. Further, on the original.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, that's the biggest thing, I understand changing colors, not great, I understand the condition there. That really will be consistent.
Because even the color doesn't have, I know the other one, once in the house, is not really faded. Color is supposed to be the faded colors. But yeah, that's, you know, they're painting. Machine.
Yeah.
I feel the same, I think the images are helpful in that regard, I think that the understanding of the color change of the shapes, you know, in terms of the duration of what's been out there. I think that clarification of, but there will be a little bit of variation between the two, that mass. I think the ritual is the piece that they applied, I think that's the most visual condition. So the ritual was to be corrected, color wise, and consistent with what we were saying. With the gutter, all the others, that would probably be more visually masked, you know, with the repairs. I think one of the things that we touched on last time is, which kind of led us to, is the repair appropriate or not? Because I think it was really, you're trying to keep water out of a condition that might have been a prior modification, and that prior modification, I don't think it took into consideration a proper transition. And so you only know, you're kind of making the best out of the current solution. So that's kind of something that we touched on last time. I think as a team, we're just worried about maybe the result of aesthetic. Allowing your roofer to kind of keep water out from that perspective. We touched on the gutter, the existing stop gutter concession. I think a lot of that is we don't know what was there prior. I think that's why we're asking. I think we're going to rely really on this condition that you inherited. That's the result that we have today versus it being a change in, I want to say, historic character or characteristics. I'm trying to conceptually kind of pick up where we left off last time as a team. Am I accurate in describing that? Okay. So I think right now we're saying that original replacement and bits, and is that the only solution that they're talking to? And so Kimberly, the next step for that, that would be information that would come back to you.
Well, next step would be making sure, is that something that you're willing to do? Because it's technically a slight alteration. And I'm always trying to be mindful of if the commission is going to suggest an alteration, that it's something that you're okay with.
I would say financially, it's not in my benefit, but at the same standpoint, preserving the neighborhood, I completely understand. Conceptually, however, I don't understand what you're talking about with the ridge roll. The color I get from a faded standpoint, at the same standpoint, I mean, I would prefer to have something that's freshly painted and looks that way, so that's more preferential. But
It's okay.
But back to just the ridge roll itself, what is the modification? Is that it's too thick, you're saying, and that it's not uniform?
That's understandable. So I think we're, like, can you go to the next, I think it was another inch. Street.
Yes, I think that.
And and I understand that we had talks with a lot of representatives pretty well in detail, so we appreciate you
Yeah.
stopping and asking that question. But you can see right now, we really into the ring, but still get it. I think it was a piece that was just stabbing into this different profile, and for that to be where the repair one was. And so it was something that.
Oh, okay, got it. Versus straight line.
Yeah, so there's this piece was stabbed in, it's totally a different piece of material or a different manufacturer.
Yeah.
And so they're possibly being something that's a little more consistent for that.
Is there a way to avoid having to do that, or I guess from a function, is there a functional piece here, or is it just aesthetic?
I think it's more so being able to preserve, at least mask the integrity, maintain the integrity of, the historic character.
Got it.
We understand if there was a roof repair or those other conditions that
Yeah.
led us down the path, but if we could kind of come to that whole, that kind of middle ground of being able to maintain integrity, I think that was what we
Yeah.
were trying to accomplish.
Okay. All right, well then, as far as next steps, I feel like I have to go back and then figure out what it's gonna take, and I'll have to replace the entire section. Because it sounds like it's gonna have to get painted to match the faded, and then it's also then gonna have to be more uniform from top to bottom, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
So that's what we were gonna vote on today, and then that way we can kind of continue to work with Kimberly quarterly. Is that okay?
sounds great.
Okay.
Take this year, yeah. Maybe versus having you, I'm trying to find a condition where maybe you don't have to come back. And
I feel like, to be honest, again, Kimberly do it, I think that we outlined it. I think
Yeah,
Kimberly.
I think I could be able to approve it without seeing it. There's an active code violation, so the code officer will take a look once the work has been completed.
Yeah.
And the code officer in the area is pretty good at being like, yay or nay, this what has been approved. If there's any questions, he can come back to me, but it seems like it's pretty straightforward. That just needs to be in uniform.
Okay.
And then the color, so.
We feel okay, Kimberly? Okay. Is there a motion with those slight adjustments?
motion for BB 24 07 024 212 West Hubbard to approve as submitted with the condition that the new exposed original is modified to be a consistent width and color matching to the house.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, guys.
All right, moving on to number 2, this is 971 New York Avenue. This application is to remove the deteriorated roof porch, construct an enclosed sunroom in the same footprint. A sunroom should have rock-based foundation blocks, so you can blue cap shingles in for gray, marble alternate door, marble alternate door windows. Sunroom to be painted with the neutral, block goes green, and curved red. The applicant have provided some options for us to look at and discuss. I've included the approved comments from the October 9th minutes. Staff has added the Sanborn maps showing the structure. The rear porch shows up on the 1901 map through the 1920 to 1959 map. Therefore, the porch is historic and will need to be retained repaired. HPO staff has checked the file, and there are no specific CLAs to porches, but a few approvals for roofing repairs and application. During the October hearing, the applicant informed the commission that he'd altered the porch in 1878, which does make it historic. The commission's determined that the porch was a contributing feature. The applicant has updated the design and provided options for the commission to discuss as per the consent. The decorative elements on the porch through the original and HBO staff attention, which I should have updated that because we'd already clarified that they were a 1978 alteration. Staff recommends continuation of the application to be more in line with the code guidelines. Recommendation for that is City Code 3116 for 11 and standards for alteration, as well as the Victorian Village guidelines on porches.
Yes, they bring on the story.
Sure. Nathan Sampson.
Elliot Neufeld,
I do.
I do.
Start on you guys.
Okay, thank you. I think, and I was sick last hearing, so I apologize. I'm trying to catch up a little bit. So if I miss a gap or something, just let me know on the discussion. So yeah, the porch here, certainly there was a porch on this house for a long time, right? I think that the footprint is there. I think you heard last month just about the homeowners' efforts in 77, 78 to fix up the porch, adding some detail to that porch. And, you know, I think for the time that far back, there probably wasn't an application for that, you know, alteration either. But, you know, what we're trying to do here is maintain the footprint of that porch, certainly. It's in need of repair. to be able to use it. And so, the desire is to enclose it to have sunroom space that exists in a massing that's appropriate for the house, and in a way that also does not, detract from the detailing of the quality house, knowing that some of those details are from the 70s, not original, knowing that, under guidelines, we have a 40-year timeline for some of those things. It's important to note too that this, isn't this side yard back of the house. So we do want to be careful about it, but certainly not visible from the street. In the design that we submitted for this, we did update, make a couple of updates beyond the footprint itself. In some of those were, we took the profiles from the columns that are on the front porch to mimic those here in our work on the back porch to make it a little bit more cohesive. And then our goal was to make this, as open as we could as an interior semi-conditioned space, fixing the foundation, fixing the roof. I think last time we were talking about, or there was a submission of an old photo from 77 that showed some of the detailing of the wood, which we are working to, retain in some ways in our detailing on this new porch, or the rebuilding of this porch. And so I think you can zoom into it a little bit. With this, with the end goal of having this be a sunroom, be functional, and be repaired so it's a safe area, on the house, not altering the footprint, which is historical. And then we get into the gray area of what may have been original, what could have been done at any time during the history. At least we have some of the elements identified right now. But we also have the craftsman with us today who added some of those as well. So, we've submitted, color scheme. I brought updated colors because it didn't print out so well in the packet. If just the pink colors are a little bit more clear. The pink colors here are selected to also, coincide with the pink colors in the house and on the front porch that's there now, just to work to tie these things together. I think that some of the detailing that, for time's sake, is now considered historic, but we're adding the 70s, were certainly thought out details, not necessarily completely in line with the house itself, but trying to, work on, some coordination there. And so in taking pieces of that, in creating or enclosing this space, we're trying to be sensitive to the areas that we are able to, and also use elements of the house that are there now to tie together the enclosing of this porch. There's a number of things going on, so happy to answer any questions you guys have on it, and maybe figure out or get some clarity too on the areas of question. Maybe we can talk about our intent and also solution.
Thank you. So, the conversation last time about this particular one, so the information that we asked for is take one of the items, bring it upset. Bring that back. So, this is, and then there's some that is passed. I'm not sure what actually tell you there. What was that? Sorry, let's go.
So code and guidelines, typically, we're going to alter something, is that in what's been altered, it would still retain the contributing elements. So if the commission is considering current porch contributing, it might be incorporating more of those elements. But I don't want to enter the discussion too much, because I'm here for code and guidelines. Please do not ask me to put on the architect.
I think that the design reflects what was there, and that's it.
I think that's what was consistent, and I think that's what the conversation got last time, is that
a proposed alteration as long as it takes consideration. Approach. And I think we also said, also. This is very tasteful, like, scalp armor, on top. That's not to or new historic porch.
Seems to strike a nice balance. Did have a question on the last page, there's, proposed French door. Where is that?
That's the picture from the website. It sells the doors. It's a single French door and a pair of French doors, but that is the style of door. It just basically has, it's not quite 3/4, but it's a panel at the bottom, light above.
So it will match the drawing as opposed to the.
Correct. We're just trying to show an example of, from the manufacturer, what the, I don't know, the line of door is.
And these are not divided lines, they're simulated divided lines. So that's all.
Yes.
No changes to the foundation footprint.
Following the same footprint on the foundation. Mhm.
And that is a rebuild foundation.
Yeah. I don't think there's much of a foundation there currently.
That we can advance this basic organization that provides. Spell out any clarification that needs to follow.
So. Yeah, I don't think we have any clarification.
Yeah.
Motion on application COA 2400329 Yale Ave to approve the application as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Kimberly, everybody need to be.
I believe so. If not, I'll let you know.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
All right. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
All right, do we have the applicant for 138 West First Ave? One 38 West First. All right, seeing nobody making a move, we're going to temporarily skip this.
That's number 3, right?
Yes, number 3.
Thank you.
All right, and then we'll move on to number 4, which is 41 West Third Avenue, and I recognize the applicants. So there are 2 applications for this address. We are going to read the staff report and discuss them separately because it'll probably be a lot easier for all of us. So the first application is to add an exterior basement access stair and a door. The stair will include a custom built door over the concrete block and the brick stairs. On the basement, the door will be on an addition, and this is a mirror alteration for the rear elevation. Staff recommends approval of the application with any and all clarifications submitted to HBO staff prior to the issuance of the certificate. Basis of the recommendation is City Code 3116.11, these standards for alteration. And I will note, I would have staff recommended this, but I was waiting for an additional clarification piece that we ended up separating. And then we didn't have this meeting either.
We're here anyway.
Yeah,
So you guys think you're going to be sorted?
yeah, Dean Berlin with Urban Order.
Steve Hurt with Urban Order.
You will agree intelligent recommendation.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so, and then also put this on the record.
Yes, we have Commissioner Sprague is abstaining for both of these applications.
So turn it over to you guys. Anything else that you want to add related to this one?
Not really. As we all know, we've been talking about this addition for a long time, so there was a basement access door on the old edition that we're covering up. So now we're putting this on the new edition.
Anything else? Anything that we need to or discussion is also?
Motion to approve COA 2400400841 West Clear Avenue S.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Great, good, thank you.
No, I believe there is a different packet for number 5. Because you're testing my memory because I think I have everything in place. And then when we get actually down here, I'm like, what's happening? The different spaces. Right. So next application number 5 is 41 West 3rd Avenue. This application is to remove and replace the first floor windows on the west elevation. Replacement of all the windows was denied at the August hearing. Discussion mainly focused on those decorative windows in the home. Staff considers this application a new request. An interior element is being removed from the windows. The commission should discuss if these windows are also contributing or if they're okay with the replacement. Staff recommends approval of the application with any and all clarifications submitted to staff prior to issuance of its certificate. Basis for recommendation is City Code 3116.11 standards for alteration, as well as the amendments to the City of Columbus Architectural Review Commission guidelines regarding window replacement.
Thank you, Kimberly. Mr. Yagar's one name, any thoughts related to this one?
So we know we talked a lot about windows on this house. These seem to be a different, the reason we're specifically talking about these is because inside of the space is an old bar and they boarded them up from the inside and put a bar in there. So we don't really know what the interior condition of the windows it is. And these are just basically, it looks like a sash that they sat in there. I don't know if that was done when they boarded it up or we have all kinds of different windows on this house. But these are just simple sash and we would like to get the go ahead to replace these 3, not knowing exactly what we're going to find on the inside. And they're high and in the side, and I'm just like climbing a fence to try to take a picture of them.
All right, any thoughts? Whether we think it's windows were not on our radar, because I think a lot of our focus is really on the bigger elevation, opposite elevation and elevation, going forward. So, it seemed like it was relevant, but it was back, it was kind of on, just make sure, so. Thoughts, concerns with that? Was being closed, to that window? Your thoughts?
It's also to me, because normally we would make sure, people set pictures of the inside and the outside, so we know the condition of them. So in terms of being consistent, I understand they're covered from the inside, but it seems like we're not at a point where we make this.
Yeah, I think just me personally, I say something. It just what I'm feeling is that, and I felt like it had, I will say, qualities of being a window. That I think definitely be on that path. But it seems like the replacement has already happened, and we have a lesser that I don't know if that interior review is 100% of the bonus. That's what I internally said. So, but I completely agree with your approach. We could talk. I'm trying to push this to the board. That's so long that.
Yeah.
I see both sides of that conversation. I do agree, these are atypical. What are?
What are they?
Yes, is that a 2x4 is it one panel? I just,
There's wood and plywood that you can see through the glass
yeah,
or plexiglass or whatever it is. But did I send you the interior photo of that wall? I thought I did, but
I
maybe not.
remember seeing it like in person, and I don't remember seeing it specifically for this application. But have you pulled down the bar on the interior or? is that
No,
still-
and that will, I don't know when that will happen. We're just trying to get a building permit at this point.
Right.
So from the inside, there's a back bar with mirrors covering over this whole elevation or this whole interior. So
Well, how about this? I mean, since staff has recommended that they think it's okay to replace that, what if you guys, if you think that it's appropriate to replace it, we can vote that that's a good way to go with it, but that Kimberly would come out and inspect that once we actually can open up the wall and see what like if those are special windows or if they're specially operable or something unique about them. But if they're just kind of sashes set into it, then maybe give her the authorization that we can then just go forward. I hate to keep coming back and with just these stupid windows and it's so. And like I said, we're not normally asked for it, but just these just seem like sashes that were kind of set in place and nothing special that wasn't going to change the character of the building. So
What happens to the tools?
nothing. The lintels are, most of them are painted brown. Some of them are much more decorative and somebody painted little swirls of color and stuff in there, but we are not planning on changing any of those.
yeah, hopefully the paint just falls off eventually. So
Was kind of what was the material.
I assume
it's
limestone
probably
or
a limestone,
sandstone.
or it could be a sandstone, but on the side it's probably a limestone.
And just per office standards, as well as I think some code of guidelines, if the stone is painted, homeowners can continue to paint it. Like, some things like this would be grandfathered in, other things that we've seen that people have just gone and painted without permission. That's a different discussion, but for this that is already been painted, and it wasn't something on my radar when I was looking through the file, that if they wanted to repaint the sills and lintels, we'd recommend doing a stone color as opposed to a brown or a black. Or if they wanted to just let it chip off and return to its original stone color, that's fine too.
Yeah.
That's a piece of this, as soon as those. Staying out.
It's actually greater.
These are very forgotten windows.
Yeah, I agree with your concerns in general, I think. Staffs.
The option of being able to get that staff would you kind of think that helps us physical investing.
I think it would be good from that standpoint. Also, just seeing the actual details of, right now, it's mostly glass, very little framing, depending on how much of the window you take out could have a big impact on what the glazing area is.
Mm-hmm.
Versus what's framing. So just really looking at those details to make sure everybody.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah.
And I understand that point. If in this same addition on the more decorative windows that are casements on the front, the sash is normal size as opposed to this thin one, which is another reason it's like, where did this come from?
So we'd probably match those proportions, like you said. So
And very to match what's in this opening, because we don't, are certain that it has.
and that's And also just what if the supports were actually ever always there, or if it was one like kind of big sash window
Get
thing.
a bow or round or something that shows something different as what's here.
Right. We are planning on matching what's here.
Mhm.
I'm just saying it's different than others, and for all we know, this could be one of those stained glass windows that filled that whole opening.
Yeah.
But we don't know that.
So, I just want to make sure that staff is, everybody's satisfied, things.
Yeah, so I think just, so I mean, details on, I guess, earlier, you're going to be like, those details to figure the 6 months or if you wanted to go.
I'm okay reviewing them, but if you'd like to see them, that's okay too. I mean, we do have the drawings that they submitted for the addition approval as well. So I'm assuming what they put in here would match those drawings. And is that something we're okay with? Or do we want this to match exactly as it is?
Well, I guess it, knowing, this is always my issue with, manufacturers, those things. They give you the cut sheet, but all it is the window. Well, how does that reflect that? Because that's what matters. Because depending on how much is, how much the trim and the frame you take out, if you go, right now it's 2 and 29, 30 seconds, well, you're putting that inside something that's already in the panel, all of a sudden you've made it that much smaller.
So, but do you think it's fair to say that obviously this window replacement has to extend, sort of like.
Yeah.
So,
It either needs to go to the brick or the staff need to be replaced so that there's some size.
so. I'm just asking, especially if we're trying to make sure that.
I guess that's a question, is there, are we looking to do picture windows or casement windows, when do they stay fixed?
They can stay fixed. It would be nice to be able to open some windows, but
Right now.
Exactly. So there's no change, exactly. So fixed is probably fine. So there's no need to, and they're higher up on the wall anyway, so.
It's just knowing how the detail, how these specific details fit into this.
So that information is provided and verified, and that is provided to staff.
Yeah.
The understanding that it most likely will be a fixed solution. To the extension. And
And clarification on colors.
that was probably the opinion. Okay.
I'm trying to remember, do we have the paint chip on file? For that red color?
we don't have paint. We don't have the color, that brown.
Okay.
For the new windows, we have a different color.
I'm thinking of what the rest of the windows are, that kind of red color.
Yeah, the red windows. The existing windows on the main house will stay the colors that they are.
Okay.
And the addition has a different color that we submitted to you for that approval.
Okay.
Yeah, we have green and red and brown windows.
That's right. We'll get a motion with those steps that staff will kind of continue to look at. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
It sounds like this would be a good motion for Melinda.
I think that.
You've got everybody here to help. Melinda, it's okay. Everybody has to do motion, even me sometimes. I've done a couple of motions to, when it's been a more difficult, when there's been lengthy discussion, you'd be like, you could just be like, here, this is not the case.
Was it additional approval?
Yeah, it sounds like, because you're gonna have some stuff coming to me.
Um, Motion for conditional approval for COA 24004555 41 West Third Avenue. Conditional approval on submitting the proposed details specific for these 3 windows, back review and approval, including manufacturer details as it relates to the specific opening and the color for these windows. And verification that they're going to be fixed or windows.
There's that,
Second.
okay, then just show me pause for a second, just make sure that.
I don't think so, but I've also timestamped it, so I can go back and re-listen
Okay.
if I need to.
Okay. Do you guys feel like we have, we need to take that next step?
Yeah.
With the
So-
staff, doing that process of removal, review, finalizing, opening, those drawings, putting it up to staff on that way.
Yes, I understand that. My question is, can I get stamped drawings so we can apply for a building permit? Or what do I need to do? Take this off of those drawings?
I'm trying to think of what are the conditions for the other approval. Is it something that we just bubble out these windows on that other drawing and kind of leave them as they currently are with a note of are addressed in different approval and then just kind of circle back until we get this approved?
That would be great.
Yeah, that's.
And then we don't have to
Clear.
submit new sets of drawings.
I'm thinking that's okay for us, especially if we need to stamp your permit drawings.
Mhm.
Is that gonna be okay?
It usually is. We can usually bubble stuff out. So, yeah.
Because sometimes they have different.
What?
Sometimes they don't work well together, they're more like a floor apart. So I just like to make sure that what, we're requesting and agreeing to do isn't going to hold you up with them. Because I don't want to repeat this entire process.
Yeah.
All over again.
That should be fine. That
I
should
think it
work.
should be
Yeah, we can make it.
I mean, we're talking 3 windows out of,
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
Let's not ask that question.
Or, motion, we got a second, we're okay, so, those in favor say aye. Aye.
Awesome, thank you.
Stay.
And we have the next application too.
Yes.
So,
Yes, although Commissioner Sprite is moving back. So this is application number 6, which is 199 West Third Avenue. This is just screening porch on an east elevation. I've included commissioner comments from the April 10th hearing. This was the last time we saw this one. If the commission finds the design appropriate, they should be prepared to provide reasons for approval. This is a kind of unique setup with that front door. So far we're assessed back as well as the request. So just to keep in mind, if it's going towards an approval, we just want to state why this would be appropriate here as opposed to elsewhere. If this would be appropriate also, that would be another discussion, but staff recommends approval of the application with any and all clarifications submitted to staff prior to issuance of the certificate. Basis for staff recommendations, City Code 3116.11 standards for alteration, as well as 3114.12 standards for new construction, and the Victorian Village guidelines regarding new construction.
That's stored in, so just turn it over to you guys.
yeah, so we're here conceptually way back April, and so the commission generally liked the direction it was, and our goal is to try to keep this as transparent as possible and as light as possible, just so that it just kind of recedes, but also it's easily removable in the future, so.
and I think we said this last time, but that door was never the front door. The front door was
Oh, that's true. So
on the front of the building.
one of those two, with the left side window was actually a front door way back when, so. Yeah, this is gone.
Thank you. Any thoughts, team? I think the information is pretty consistent with what we think of conception. Just
the drawing past. Because one of the things that came up that time was just the being section, you know, I think that movie was not, and so it was like that section with the bottom too as well, just to make sure that we can, you know, kind of, this is no more possible. But we got to study the tradition of the what's past. So, anything else that we need, or additional thoughts, to be able to have next steps.
Are we okay with the OT better? Is that what's on the rest of them? That's not something we normally.
We do have some of the rest of the house, we have.
I think we just did it.
And it's a big, a good one to clarify.
Why?
Yeah, well, we'll mention. And Kimberly's asking us to as well, that, you know, that we made a positive conversation last time, conceptually. That it's not really what I'm tasked to the why. And so we just need to make sure. Yeah.
One thing, this is following back. Limits,
Yes.
side house, missing the tree out there that were. That had been replaced, or is
The tree?
the pad for the.
Oh, the pad hadn't, we were just building on top of it, so, yeah.
So someone that wants to think.
Motion on application COA 2400-385, 191 West Third Ave, to approve the application as submitted. We do know, possibly, reasons, why we approved this. This house has a unique arrangement in terms of where it's, it is, in terms of its beautiful ways. And that this porch of this location, seems fairly appropriate. It's not, doesn't take away from the character of the home. It is set back farther from the front of the house. It has also other benefit zoning such that it can be removed for the future time if needed. We also know that we're approving the OG style gutters, excuse me, the K style gutters, because that's what's existing in the rest of the house.
Is there a second? Second. Any further discussion? Give you a second, get you what you need.
I think I got that all.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Great, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll move on to application number 7, 135 West Hubbard Avenue. This application is to remove and replace a 3rd-story arched window with a Marvin Titanium window. The applicant has been working with HBO staff to replace the window. Due to some extended back and forth, HBO staff has placed the application on the agenda and hopes the commission can assist in moving the application forward. Staff has been trying to determine if the existing window is damaged beyond repair and if the proposed replacement is appropriate. The commission should discuss if the material provided is sufficient and if the window can be repaired or if it should be replaced. Staff recommends on to continue the application to allow the applicant to explore retention and repair. Basis for recommendation, City Code 3116.11, the standards for alteration, as well as the amendments to City Code, or sorry, to the City of Columbus Architectural Review Commission guidelines on this window replacement.
Can you guys state your name and be sworn in?
I'm Elizabeth Petty, owner of the property. It's my husband.
Douglas Petty.
You both agree to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
You do?
You're welcome.
Turn it over to you guys just to kind of introduce the project and just, you know, outline. Kind of catch us up as commissioners. I know you've had some great dialogue with, you know.
Oh, lots of
that. So we're going to help today. So
Good.
just kind of
Thank you.
catch up on a little bit and then, see if we can help.
Well, the whole thing started with the window being deteriorated and blown out in a wind event. And which is why it's boarded up now, because we had to try to prevent further damage. It's a fixed arch window. on an unfinished attic, you know, clear up in the sky. And we were put under code enforcement to replace the window. So we started the process and had very difficult times trying anybody who wanted to mess with this window. Our carpenter is able to replace the interior frame with the, you know, as close as to what is there. It's very old wood, so I'm sure he'll use pine. Abco came out and gave us a quote for a wood-clad arch window. And then we noticed from pictures that there was originally a division in the window, so there were two side panes and well, Abco said they didn't see any way to do that other than the entire arch window. We talked about divisions. I contacted Abco and they revised their quote to include, you know, two side pieces to imitate what was originally there. The exterior frame, because I was hearing your conversations about, you know, how it all fits together with a fixed window into the existing frame. The specifications from the quote that I submitted from Abco probably didn't include the exterior frame, but it will be replaced as it stands right now, which is hard to see because it's boarded up. I did submit a picture from years ago of what the window initially looked like. I can't do a current one because there's plywood over the opening, so hopefully we can get this taken care of so I can get the city off my back.
All right, thoughts as to these window shape, is next steps.
So it seems like there's I guess, for me, it's just a little bit clarification. There's a thought about just the carpentry. And there's an opportunity for apples to replace them. We'll see that they want to apple places to go to things they try to really balance them, but some apple cake. And so the only thing that I come back and ask the homeowner is if we're able to make a repair, does the carpenter have the ability to just make a repair and replace any part? I'm saying, get the integrity. That's what I don't even know that, but that's a question I have.
I agree. I mean, repairing it would be preferable, especially looking at the interior picture. You can see just how heavy the divisions are. It wasn't a window with even ply buttons or rim buttons. It was 3 windows with 3 sashes with a hole trim between them. So applying a trim to one piece of glass, you're going to get maybe a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch sightline difference versus this is 3 or 4. So that's a huge visual change to a window like this. It will very much treat it that way as one window in the property.
Did you have the picture of the exterior picture from a long time ago?
Was it this?
There, yeah, that one. Trouble is the tree's in the way, but if I zoom it up on my phone, the actual divisions are not very clear from the exterior. It wasn't like they were white, you know, divisions. I don't know if that makes a difference. Let's see if my pictures.
Were the side windows hinged? It looks like there's a hinge in one of these pictures.
Again, it was on a 3rd floor that is really hard to walk on because the floor is.
So I think that the question is, you know, right now, since you do have a carpenter, let's see if I can assist you. Is the carpenter, does the carpenter have the capacity to be, to kind of do some repair on the window, to maintain the integrity or get back to the integrity without a full replacement of the entire window?
I don't think I understand the question.
So can the carpenter repair in lieu of trying to replace.
The trouble is access, because you can't do everything from inside, and inside is really the only access we have. Otherwise, APCO's gonna have to get a lift thing to get up to do any repair on the outside, and Mike Carpenter, I wouldn't want him on a ladder up that high. It's really up there. I mean, it's an old building with like 12-foot ceilings, and so by the time you get to the third floor, it would be, to me, a kind of a dangerous situation. And I hate to put him in that position. If we need to hire some different, you guys just tell me, I just want to get this taken care of. Whatever you think you need us to do, we will try our best, but I talked to several people in the process, and the only one I could find was APCO, who had the ability or even the desire, even they didn't want to tackle it because of its location and access and even finding a window that I can go back to them and see if there's a possibility of getting 2 side windows in a middle, but we did discuss it at the time, and he said because of the arch in the middle, that's the one that they had the problems with. And he said the best solution that he could see was to do a solid window that would fit in that space. And
It's gonna be, you know. I was under the impression.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I'm not saying your carpenter isn't tough, but understand like access is a challenge. You need a carpenter that is okay with going up there. I think the right, maybe a carpenter that is okay with that height. To be able to repair, the repairs to it from the inside. Picture, it doesn't look too bad. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it's not as damaged. But again, if there's only the interior, the outside would very much be a ladder or a lift. But most the commercial window manufacturers having a lot of limitations on anything that has an arch. Sizes and radiuses, it's going to be very hard to match the details of this particular window in a manufacturer.
I think that's the bigger point here, right? It's like whether it's getting it replaced or not, replacement. Good. So I think if it could be replaced in time, which will be required. And I think the replacement is fine. It's either that or repair.
This may be a silly question. The glass is gone, right?
yeah, it was blown out. It was all, that's why we had to board it up, because we had to protect what was left of the interior.
No glass,
No glass.
and there was just pieces of wood.
And they're in pretty bad shape. In fact, Mike's already been up there trying to shore up the inside, so there's something to put the window onto.
The 2 hour range.
No, it's all gone. Yeah, it's all gone. Yeah.
I mean, I guess the point of my question is, at what point is it patching and repairing, or you're building for it? You have no glass, right? And the wood, I can't really see what the condition is, but again, I'm just trying to say that at some point you're scrapping the wood window anyways, right?
So her thing is that getting it as a manufacturer.
So it's all this, you guys said, whether it's like, there's 2 options here. One is there's a repair of this existing, right? The other one is, say, an optional replacement with a configuration that better aligns with the existing assembly. That's the 2 options. Right? So right now, what the team is responding to is that APCO solution won't, it just wouldn't provide comparable in kind solution
to the composition of that window. So it would either be repair of that window or a replacement, but it just happens to be a different manufacturer that may be able to give you the similar composition of that window. So it will simply be three. Is it one window that has a stronger divided light condition between the two? I don't know if you've done that.
I've tried.
Okay.
I've tried. If you guys have somebody you can refer me to, that I'll be glad to do whatever you need, but I did try.
So we're not on the but it's called sidewalks again.
And I typically tell applicants, look through past minutes and agendas. We have recently had somebody that applied and was approved for a staff approval for window repair. I have another one, surprisingly, that should be coming through shortly as well, and both are different companies.
Okay, can you get me that information?
Yes, I remember the name of one, but not the second, so I'm gonna refrain from saying, because I can't recommend people either. I can just tell you that.
Okay, all right, well, if they can get up that high and,
Yes, and as Melinda said, Columbus Landmark.
Say to maintain the rest of the.
okay,
Seems like that's a good next step. If we can go on to kind of maybe research those two opportunities.
well, yeah, I don't have a choice.
We just want to put those next steps on too as well.
I'm sorry, it's frustrating. I thought we were getting close to a solution. It's not a cheap solution either, the one that we're already looking at. Now, if we have to find, but I'll do whatever to do. We always play nice with the commission. We have lots of properties and we've been through this for many, many, many years. Yeah,
And I'll keep the code officer updated as well. So
Thank you.
he knows that you've received a text communication, which might provide to be a little longer.
oh, he's been great. Yeah, I have no complaints in that department.
We do a motion to the.
Sorry. Motion on application COA 2400267, 135 West Hubbard Ave to continue the application to allow the applicant to refine this.
So the second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And since you're the first continuing for the night, if you want to be on December, typically it is a week from today. I would say I typically have meeting feedback to you Friday or Monday, but I'm out of office tomorrow, so that's going to be delayed a little bit. But I like to tell people that if they are continued, the deadline for submission is today, that way, if you're on top of getting things together and sending it in, you can do that, but I owe you something, so that might be a little while, and we'll talk as
Okay.
well.
Okay, now we have to come back to do this, or is it something staff can do if I apply with?
It depends. If you're replacing the window, you'll have to come back. If you're repairing, I think I can staff approve that because it'll be modifying the application.
Okay, all right, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Mhm.
All right, we'll move on to our one conceptual for this evening. This is number 8, which is 208 West Second Avenue. This application is to remove the original aluminum siding with a textured 4-inch vinyl siding. The scallop siding would remain and it would be painted as part of this application. This property was built in 1905 and originally had aluminum siding, which is a structure. The current siding is damaged and the owner wishes to explore replacing the siding with vinyl. The property is just shy of being considered historic at 39 years old. Appropriate siding for this time period would have included vinyl. The commission should discuss if that would be an appropriate replacement in this instance. Commissioners should offer design feedback that can be utilized by the applicant to further refine the proposal for review at a future meeting. No action. Basis for staff recommendations to Code 3116 from 11 standards for alteration, as well as the Victorian Village guidelines on siding.
Thank you, Kimberly. Can you say your name?
Hi, I'm Patsy Matheny.
Tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
You can tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
I can't hear you.
Do you agree to tell the truth?
Oh.
Nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
I have a cold, so
No worries.
ears are clogged up.
Hope you feel better.
Thanks.
Anything that you want to offer in terms of clarification of the proposed project?
Well, I purchased the property about 12 years ago in 2012, and at that time, can we go back to the one with the garage? If, so at that time, I think that, well, I know it had hail damage, so it was dented and faded. I didn't replace it at the time, but if you can see that it's starting to pop off now. So actually, right there by the windows, you can see the infrastructure behind, so I knew I had to do something about that, so that's why. And since it's aluminum siding on 3 sides, it's a townhouse, so I have a common wall with the other 2 neighbors. I would like to replace all of the aluminum siding on my 3 sides with similar vinyl siding like this, which is, I've had 3 estimates come out and they've all recommended the same company. I have 18 windows in the house. They're wood and they're all dark brown. So I was trying to pick a color that would go ahead with the brown color on it. This is the same size as the vinyl and the same as the aluminum that's on there now, the same texture. I have talked to my 2 neighbors. They have mostly brick on their front, but they also have aluminum siding, and at this time, they're not interested in making any changes, so. We were hoping we could all do one thing at the time, but no.
Thank you. Any thoughts?
It's basically, vinyl was what used to be able to, it's very brilliant. Really, it's beyond its lifespan.
Right, I tried to get some aluminum to replace what's pulling off. And also on the back of the house, I think they had replaced it. It's a different color and it's just not possible. It's just kind of a dirty gold, it's very faded, so I wasn't able to get anything comparable.
My one suggestion as this moves forward is to provide maybe photos that show more context, so how your property actually relates to the other attached properties.
I think can you show Kimberly one of the front?
It's actually Mose is driving us. I was taking this.
So just to the right of this, to the window, is the start of the second townhouse. It's all brick. Both of the next 2 townhouses have brick fronts on them. They only have siding in the very back of their house. It's brick on the other end of it too.
And Tim, what you're talking about is kind of seeing the entire of what everything looks like. So from something, a picture from a little bit further back, just showing the rest of the townhouse.
Of the whole, all 3 of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, because the change in your property, we're talking about change to just a portion of the total.
Right.
So seeing that, probably better yet, showing a photo of that up against the existing siding, just so we can make sure that it truly is comparable and it's going to work.
Okay. They have no siding on the front though, so that, yeah. I'm also proposing on the scallops on the front that you'll see when it comes around is having those painted this sage green, just to provide some color since I can't change anything with the very dark brown windows and doors in the house.
Anything else that we would need when she submits a full application? More contextual photographs together.
I think so. And just as a little caveat, since I'm making this difficult by being out tomorrow, you'll have a week from today to submit additional photos if you'd like to be placed on the December agenda. And I'll kind of summarize everything the commission has stated, but if you want to get a head start and submit early, you're free to.
So you're asking for 1 photo of the total building in front. That's it.
Did you still want the photo of the siding up against, what's currently there? Or are you okay without that?
I'm okay with that, and it's, if it is true that there, you know, that total elevation, that's the only case that it happens, is a piece of being replaced. I'm just concerned that if it's that, and then within that same elevation, it's going to be old, if they don't work.
I see. Well, it won't in the back because they don't want to take their aluminum off, but
But it's back reducing the top.
it's the back that, not the front.
One front, one back.
One front, one back. Okay, I'll try and get a copy of the back because everybody else's backyards.
It's the best
I'm
thing
up
to do to try to get as much in, and again, if you're able to put that up against
Okay,
the existing, just for comparison, I think that'd be helpful.
you mean you're talking about putting the siding up against it or not just a picture?
It could be a photo, but if you're able to get that up close to the existing side by side.
Of my current siding?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want a picture of the front, picture of the back to try and get in the other two townhouses, and a third picture showing this up against
Just hold it up against.
the current siding? Okay, then, and can you tell me the process then I submit that and then come back in December?
Yes, you submit that, you'll go through this, you'll have to do a new application just because this one was conceptual. The next one will be for action. And unfortunately, the online portal isn't as sophisticated as I think some of us would like it to be, which is okay, we work around it. But you'll submit, some. You'll go through that process of all review documents, let you know if anything's missing, which it sounds like we're pretty clear on what we need. I'll get you on the December 11th agenda, and then it'll be the same, you'll get the email about the business meeting and the hearing, and hopefully we can get you approved next month, which it sounds pretty favorable, but we don't like to make any promises until we've got that for action item.
Okay, so just one clarification then. So if for some reason it's not approved, can I go ahead and just replace the ones that are popping off? This is the west side of the house, so I get all of the weather on here, and I'm afraid over the winter that the weather would come up underneath and make some structural damage to the townhouse.
Yeah, I think that when we review the application, with, I think, those comparables, that for instance, it doesn't move forward, I think that would be a great understanding of what do we do
Okay,
to solve that issue, to make sure that we maintain integrity.
okay, yeah, good, that's what I'm concerned about.
Completely understand.
Okay. Okay,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you.
All right, so there's only one person left, and we still have two applications. I just want to get clear, are you here for 1249 Neil? Fantastic. Then I'm gonna read the next staff report I thought I needed to read. So, as just clarified, the next application that we're gonna review is 1249 Neil Avenue. This is to replace the damaged slate shingles on the roof and rebuild a fence that was damaged to match existing. This application is the result of a code violation. Reclaimed slate has been used to replace damaged slate. Staff has been working with the applicant since May and decided to place the application on the agenda in order to assist the item in moving forward. The following items have been requested: current photos of the property, photos of all slopes of the existing roof, product sheet or a photo of the dimensions of the replacement slate, and the scale measured site plan with the fence replacement marked, which we have most of those. HBO staff does not consider the purple and green slate an appropriate replacement material. Staff recommends continuation of the application to allow for additional documentation to be submitted. And this is per City Code 3116.11, standards for alteration, as well as the Victorian Village guidelines regarding roofs and the amendments to the City of Columbus Architectural Review Commission guidelines regarding slate roofs.
Can you, gentlemen, state your name, please, sworn in?
Jay Zollers. Steve Zwissler. Yes.
Can you help us, just kind of?
Yeah, so 1249 Neon's been owned by Bill DeWalt for 50 years, 60 years. It's a beautiful building. I've been managing it for many years. We have done routine maintenance on the slate roof for many years. However, there was a storm or something came through in late April, early May that caused some roof damage. And Steve does all of our roofs and went over to repair what was at the time thought to be, a couple slates missing, slide, whatever, normal maintenance. What we discovered is there was quite a bit of damage, fortunately none structural, but quite a bit damaged by the slates. And as a professional roofer, I'd like him to sort of explain what he used, how he used it. And I would like to make one comment that at one point in time, someone was asked us to identify which slates were replaced. Well, I can tell you there was hundreds. And as you can tell, you can't tell which ones they are. So Steve, if you want to elaborate on the type of slate and that kind of stuff, because I can't answer that.
Right. I have New England slate at my shop. And I've had it over the years, and we do a job here, do a job there, and we basically stockpile slate. I was asked for us to go and repair this. So when we got on the roof, you've got different slopes, give you a different visual type of situation. Some have algae on them, so they're very dark. Some don't, and so they're lighter. Some of the slate is showing its age, so it's going to look, a lighter color where it was maybe darker in 50 years ago. Some were a standard square nose, some were fish scale. So our goal was to replace the roof, or replace pieces as needed to match whether they were fish scale, whether they were square nose, whatever it needed to be at the time and in the particular situation. Noting that there are multicolored slates in the area, I didn't really have a problem with us bringing multicolored slate, and there is multicolored slate on the roof. So we didn't really pay attention, honestly, to what we were grabbing. We grabbed what we knew looked right on the roof. And that's what we did. We replaced it here, replaced it there. We did several hundred pieces. And then it was brought to our attention, well, which ones did you replace? And they're looking at the pictures and they're driving by. And for me, the ultimate compliment is I don't know which pieces were replaced. Okay.
That's where we are.
And that's where we are. And I feel really good about the fact that they don't know, because we did several hundred. It's kind of where I'm at.
So we have two items, and Kimberly says right now, two items. One is the slate replacement,
Mhm.
and then the work that was done, and then at the same time it's the fence.
Yes.
And I'd be happy to address that as well. I didn't know if you want to do one at a time.
No, I think that if you could go ahead and just touch on the fence.
Yeah, so the fence, someone blew through it in a car or something. I don't know. What you're seeing is when I get a phone call from our tenants that someone's completely destroyed the fence. So completely. So all we did is remove the debris, went back with the same post or new posts and the same holes, and put back a nice clean fence that was identical to what's there. And when we got notice of this, I stopped because I wanted to get through this process with you guys.
So the fence.
And that the primary purpose of the fence, to be upfront, is the sight lines of garbage cans. So they're not sitting out there and cluttering the street and or all the neighbors looking at them. And most of the time neighbors love the fact that they're on our side, not our side, but on the inside of the fence. And from the street appeal of, it's not Pennsylvania, I can't think of the name of the street that's behind Neil Avenue, but it gives you a visual buffer. And we lowered the fence a little bit, more so for the biggest reasons, because it's not so much for private, it's for aesthetics, number one. And two, hiding the garbage cans a little bit. And three, security. With the fence being 6'5" high, it's too much. People can't see their cars. They feel more vulnerable. And so it's approximately 4 foot now.
It's the aesthetic of the fence is what was there prior, it's just all along.
Yes, and that's purposely, because we felt that the 6 foot fence was more of a, I mean, it's a parking lot, you know what I mean? And it's not for privacy so much.
So first of the take care of it, and then we'll easier. I need on some of the solution, as a fence, so. Missions other heights. etc.
So two things. One is the post heights.
They'll get cut off, but then I stopped immediately because
Like, I don't know what happened here.
yeah. No, they would love to put, I'd like to finish it, and then I could just,
The second piece, and shadow box style would be. Don't tend to. But I can say I walked this site and the adjacent fences are shadow fences. So.
So we don't typically approve the shadow box fence. This might be situations, it doesn't match the rest of the fence, and it was, completely obliterated to consider, but typically if somebody does replace a fence, especially if it's the entire yard, and to tell them that it's board on board, they might be, they could always do the horizontal, but typically we see the vertical board on board.
This wasn't a case where you have much by environments.
Yeah, I think if the posts are taken care of.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, they're just, okay, we replace this time to display to bedding. It's better.
Then it would be just the other expense.
Okay, so, so another one is the placement.
So I would, like I said, I walked by here because of the slate, because I wanted to get a view from the ground. So you're right, you can't tell except when the sun hits just right on the one side of the house, and it's shining, which is interesting. And I'm not saying it's bad. This is a little different. I haven't seen slate quite like this. It's multicolor that's there. And I think, the only difference that you can see right now, because they don't have algae and they have an age. I actually think it's okay, even though the colors and style are a little unusual. When I say style, the New England slate is typically used, right? I think it looks fine on this house, and it is pretty uniformly done, like, so it's not like it's just one patch or something different. It's throughout the state.
it's just a comment. I mean, as you guys know, this is a 3-story building. And you can see very small bits and pieces of that roof at any given angle.
Yes, that's all very good. Yeah, it was the one on the north side.
I mean, it's steep. It's scary. I don't know why they get up there, but
Wait, we're sorry. She was better at, definitely, a lot of slate that has been placed. Still better. It's like.
Yeah, I mean, when you think slate, where you think profile and color, right? The profile on these is the same. Right? It's
correct.
stacked correctly, it's good, but color on this roof, it's not beautiful, right? So if you replace it, and it's not the same color, that's okay, because I think what was there and when it's so hard to tell what was replaced is, it is multicolored.
Well, the interesting part of this whole exercise is
you know, I knew I was coming here today, so I'm driving around, actually. I think it was going down Summit or Neil or one of the, you know, in through there. And I'm like, well, there's purple up there. Now, I didn't know anything about you. I didn't know you guys were gonna say anything about this, okay? But I was like, because you don't see purple a lot, but you see it some. And I'm like, well, there's purple up there and there's purple over there and there's green over there. It's just like, so the yellow made me look at everything now.
Yeah, and it's, again, if it was all uniform and a somewhat new slate roof that had been repaired, obviously it's very different, but this is white, so I actually think it looks nice. But
Thank you.
my 7 days, but I think it all matters, is appropriate.
I'm gonna ask you for reasons for approval.
I think you're gonna ask for reasons.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'll do it. I think you got it. So, yeah, so is there a motion? It's like, what we just talked about.
Motion on application COA 2400206, 1249 Neal Avenue, to approve the application, as submitted with the following, clarification and condition. With regard to the fence, the post will be cut down to match the height of the fence. And we are the slate roof, we're clarifying why we approved that. The slates on the existing roof were multicolored. The replacement slates fit in with those colors. It's not individual patches that have been replaced. It wasn't, you know, uniform roof, everything was wrong and said. You know, it seems to look fine from the ground on the roof, and we're okay with it in this application. Well,
Is there a second? I have a couple things to add. Is there a second?
Second.
Can we say something about the importance of the surviving areas?
yes, yes, so that's actually a good point. I think with slate roofs, we need to be more flexible on what we allow in general. You know, I commend you for maintaining the slate roof over these years. You know, if it is not a thing to do. And so, you know, if it means we get some New England slate instead of the typical gray slate that we use, that's something we have to be okay with under certain circumstances.
Family repairs work, so otherwise the slates are in, it's the slates are.
And so then one other item is clarification on the fence, is in terms of
The shadow box. Yeah, and then to clarify the fence, we wouldn't normally, with shadow box fence, but the old fence appears that there may have been a shadow box. More importantly, the surrounding fence fences in that area, that are adjacent are shadow box fences. So it matches the existing.
Do you agree with those amendments when they're said?
Yeah.
Any further discussion on?
No.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
I
Appreciate that.
we're gonna circle back to 3. Because they, did not show up, and this is the second time they have,
No.
So this is the motion to continue then?
yes, let me read the staff report so we have that in the record.
Yes.
So this application was to remove and replace existing side doors with the legacy 20 steel entry door. The comments from the October hearing were provided, and the existing doors are not original to the property and they do show signs of deterioration. Staff supports their replacement, but the requirement that any main entry door is replaced with wood. Side or rear doors can be replaced with wood, metal, or fiberglass. Staff supports replacement in like kind for historic building elements. And staff recommends approval with the condition that the doors are replaced with styles featured in the guidelines and with that main entry door being wood. Basis for recommendation is City Code 3116.11 and standards for alteration, as well as Victorian Village guidelines for windows and doors. So with no applicant being here, we previously had provided some comments. I didn't think they were coming today, but perhaps something came up that they were able to attend.
Have you got any updated material based on our requests?
No, just a little bit of confusion about why this wasn't approved. Which it's typical from people that don't show up. They sometimes think that the commission will discuss in lieu of them not being here. And I did provide the comment about what was said the last time.
Ideally, they would submit new materials, or that's something that we can do this on the first try.
That would be ideal, although since they're not here, they kind of automatically get continued, and they were in contact with me that they wanted it on this agenda.
Right, so we have to vote to.
Yeah.
Of course there is. A motion on application COA 2400329 971 Neal Avenue, City of Yavapai.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
I do not have any new business or old business aside from the one we already discussed.
Your motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Take that one.
All those in